You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
What's up, guys? What is up, everybody? We're going to open the show with Robbie bragging about his James O'Barr print and signature.
So I heard you had a nice little pickup this weekend.
You did have a good pickup.
Oh, yeah. I have plenty of good pickups, but that one was... Meeting James O'Barr was a dream come true to me. Like, I know a lot of people are fans of, like, say, the Crow movie or whatnot, but it's the comic, and particularly the artwork. His use of so many different things, like screen tone and duo shade and ink wash. Like, I love it. We got to sit there and talk about, you know, the technical side of things for a while. It was a great show. I met so many awesome people. Greg Capullo was super cool. Scott Snyder's always cool. Ron Mars, Mark Waid, Dan Brereington, Kevin Nolan. There's even more. It was such an amazing weekend, y'all.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so
now, does this count as name dropping?
I always get hammered for name
dropping.
No. He actually went to a con. He's reporting his trip to the con. Okay, that's different. So no, Robbie's name dropping will not be included in the drinking game. Okay?
I was going to say
that could get dangerous.
To be fair to everybody. All right, so we got John Spilios in the house, Triple B, Jeff Wedding, Ron, John Spilios, Creative Keep, Kenneth Bird, Marcus, what's going on, buddy? Welcome, guys. All right, so Jeff, no comment on ML's Star Wars cover?
I don't know. That was over.
All right, so anyway, things are a little different today, as you may have noticed. The rack is not here, so we may or may not.
Slight echo. Sorry, guys. I know you can't see me, but I'm here.
Amy's slightly off camera working the iPad for us.
Just making sure, like, you guys can't hear an echo too much, can you? Because I turned the volume all the way down. The mic is off.
Yeah, I hear a little bit,
there
but
is an echo coming from
yeah,
somewhere.
it's the speaker that needs to be off, though, not the mic.
Well, that's because of the greatness of our guests. There's an echo effect, right?
That's right. I carry it around with me wherever I go.
I almost feel like we should have the opening for 20th Century Fox.
So, all right. So we've gotten rid of the rack because we needed to find a way, and we couldn't manipulate the camera in such a way.
Just let me know if there's anything.
Yeah, it's fine.
Plus, these guys don't even like the comics that much.
But by halfway through the show, John's going to drop so many names, they're all going to be drunk anyway. So this way we get all three of us into the shot, obviously, and we have the iPad pointed down at where Mariano's working on the coloring of the books. And he did complete echoes because of no rack. Nope, that's not it. But thanks for playing, Marcus.
Rack.
But so these two will be available for sale. Let me see. Let me see which ones. All right. So one is Amazing Spider-Man number 789, blank variant signed with Doc Ock cover sketch by Mariano and Joe Del Beato. And then the second one. Nice. All right. So he's going to color that while on air.
And remember, Dr. Octopus made the better Spider-Man.
And then we have Action Comics number 18, blank variant signed with Lex Luthor cover sketch by Mariano and Joe Del Beato. All right. And so we're kind of sticking with our villains theme from last week.
By having me back.
No, you're just here to get everybody drunk. That's your purpose now. The name dropper. And then the two that we showed last week are also going to be available for sale. All right. One is Captain America number 695, blank variant, signed by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza with Spider-Woman cover sketch. Do we not have the completed one of that?
It is. It might be in the pile.
I will ask.
It might be in the pile.
Amy, we need you again. I'm sorry.
No, there it is. It's at the bottom.
Yeah, but we want to get a quick scan of that. So, because otherwise, hey, Amy,
What?
we need you again.
You hear the middle finger in her voice.
That's okay. She wouldn't be the first woman to give me the middle finger.
It's okay.
What's wrong?
I don't think they have scans of this, or do they?
Not the colored ones, but
yeah.
I can.
Can we get those scanned up real quick? And send them to
Stevie
Jay? Thank you.
with Mariano's black look.
Anything else you need from her that you gotta like have her drop everything?
Pizza.
Well,
A
Nick,
pizza.
unless you don't want the color one images up there, we can go ahead
So
with the
we've
black
tried
white
to have
ones.
you an admin for so long, but you're going to have to publish by yourself now. The training wheels are off.
Real quick, coming out soon. I Am Batman by Brad Meltzer and Christopher Eliopoulos. I Am Superman by Brad Meltzer and Chris Eliopoulos. While we don't have them, they are in stores. I got a letter here. Hold on. When are they in stores? Sometime in September. So ask your local retailer. With Mariano's Black Velvet, you guys look like
This is 11 Creel tries the rack.
I like that.
We're the comics. Who can say?
All right. So, all right, Ron.
Glad to hear,
cool.
Ronald.
Ron got his. Preston got his. And
So the mail system's working.
the mail system is sort of working.
I only got two of my three new T-shirts. One is in the mail.
All right. So in a couple of minutes, because I know Ron wanted to wait until it was fully colored, and Amy's scanning it now. So we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. It actually looks. I see where Ron was coming from. As soon as Mariano colored them, I was like, wow, that's something. So you guys need my address for?
because this is so difficult.
Ken, yeah, but I it would be nice to have the scan version as well, Nick, because we're depending on the scans for tonight's show, because we have to remove the rack in order to get all three of us in the shot. And that's where the rack. That's where we put the rack.
I know, maybe we should have put
notice.
not the rack in the way.
The rack is now a trick hazard.
Ken, did you? I want to say that you did fill out the submission form. I kind of believe that we did get yours, get your address, but I'm not absolutely certain. But I will check after the show. But let me see.
I'm gonna need that Iron Man too, then.
Yeah. So look, I if you fill out the submission form, Kenneth, we should be fine. If you put in your ship to address from there, we should be good to go. All right. So then Mario's gonna color in two more for us, and I don't know how many times we can convince him to keep coming back before he's sick of me and John.
Well, it's either that or I just
never.
You say
These are fun.
You say never now.
Here's the
but
problem:
you
if
watch.
he doesn't come in here, he's stuck with me at his desk talking about Irwin Allen TV shows.
Ooh, I like
Nobody
that
wants
thread.
that.
No. It's infinite fun. Infinite fun.
I like that thread a lot. So Robbie, so obviously you had a good time at the con this weekend.
Yeah.
And it was in Tennessee.
Yeah, he road tripped up to Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee, home of Graceland.
And FedEx.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay. Shucks, we should have went and checked out the FedEx museum. We unfortunately
that would
we
be
didn't
real
have time.
exciting, I'm sure. The history on how to ship packages. But yeah, so you were there for the full 2 days?
Yeah, we were there both days. We stayed the night. We had a good time. It was super fun. Great show, good people, lots of friends. A lot of people, recognized me from the YouTubes, including some creators, and got to have some talks with creators and stuff. Not trying to name drop, but
It's
Oh,
the
well,
PCD guy.
Yeah,
and you got
as we said, your name dropping will not count towards the game.
yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good,
All right.
good, solid, fun time. Good, clean
Gotcha.
fun in Memphis, Tennessee, like Elvis would have it.
That's right.
We did the King proud.
Did you take the Graceland tour?
No, I didn't have time for any of that. We were like, it was like con and food. Like we went and ate at a place called Soulfish, like a local seafood place that was really good. Seafood soul food. That was cool. And then We had like some hot dogs the next day at the con. They were okay.
Did you moderate panels there too?
No, I didn't do any panels. I was there strictly in fanboy capacity.
Gotcha. So Graceland, interesting story. Early part of my career selling collectibles. Around the same time I met Nick, we had a Elvis license, the company I was working for, and I was actually on the air, and I can't even believe this, but I actually sold on the air Elvis dirt from Graceland, and they didn't call it dirt. I remember we had to call it soil, and it was like this little acrylic paperweight with a line drawing of Graceland in the back and a little vial of dirt, guaranteed to come from the grounds of Graceland. And let me tell you something, they snapped those bad boys up, bro. I couldn't even believe it.
I believe it.
I felt like I was that guy who invented canned air or the pet rock at one point.
Elvis is a mythological figure to a lot of people, almost like a religious icon, right?
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
There are certain fan bases that have the deepest pockets. Elvis is a big one. The Kiss Army is huge.
Yes.
We do Kiss comics here, but I went to a trade show years ago, right before Gene Simmons was on a season of The Apprentice, and he was doing some of these trade shows, and he talked about literally we can put our name on anything and people will buy it. And we love you for that. Thank you.
All right. So Creative Key. It is available. Nobody, I believe, has hopped on it. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. It is suggested retail of $149.99 because it's collaborative work, and we have an IP price for $75. All right. So if you want it, it's yours, Creative Key, at $75. So I'm going to put you in here, buddy. All right, so the Doc Ock has been claimed.
Doc Ock has been claimed. All right, thank you.
All right, so stay within the lines, my man.
I'm trying.
All right, so then, Jay, did you get the scans from Amy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, very good. All right, so we'll go to those. Captain America number 695, blank variant, signed by Joe Delviato and Mariano with Spider-Woman cover sketch. And this is what it looks like, fully colored. And it's also $149.99, and we have the one available for $75. And these are obviously done already. All right, and then let's do the Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man number 600, blank variant, signed by Joe Delviato and Mariano Nicieza with the Madam Web cover sketch.
That's super cool.
All right, also suggested retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $75. All right, so that's how it looks, Ron, fully colored in there, my friend.
Now, Madam Web is going to be a new movie from Sony, right?
Yes.
A new Spider-Man universe movie?
Yes, with what's her name from?
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson.
We talk about this all the time.
We
There
love Dakota Johnson.
Well, yeah, she's Don Johnson's daughter, and I love Hermione Less personally, but whatever. I digress. So, all right. So these are the 4 CCAs that are going to be available tonight for anybody that's interested. Again, we'll do a Q&A thing. Any questions for Mariano, throw them up in the chat. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer it if he can. But beyond that, so what else happened this weekend, Ron? You got
That's what happened. That's what happened. I went to the con. Yeah.
So you have your beloved Cowboys on tonight, facing off with the New York Giants.
I do. I actually have a good feeling about that game. I'll be doing a show during the first part of it, but I'll try not to be too distracted.
Oh, is that the movie review show?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. All right. So what is the movie tonight?
Well, we're in Jordan Peele week of Horror Fest 2022. So on Saturday night we talked about Us, and tonight we're talking about Get Out, which is one of my favorite modern horror films. So I'm very excited for that conversation.
Very cool.
And congratulations to your Eagles beating the Commanders yesterday, right?
Hold on. Okay, Ron is claiming the Madam Web. You got it, Ron. It is yours, my friend. Yes, I mean, I got to say that Jalen Hurts has more or less made a believer out of me. The words about the defense, Lars Van, well said. the concerns about the defense in game one was obviously proven incorrect. I mean, they sacked Carson. What was it? 9 times, 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not a fan of Carson Wentz. We got to see him up close. He holds on to the ball too long, and we all know that's a fact. And when you hold on to the ball in the pocket too long, you get sacked. I mean, I knew the Washington Commanders were gonna have some problems. I mean, that's Carson Wentz right there. Okay, looks good. And then when it really counts, boom. Okay, he chokes. Same as Kirk Cousins, I believe. And you put pressure on those guys, man, they're gonna fold.
By the way, if it wasn't for something about Mary, I wouldn't even know who this guy is.
Oh, great.
But how about that stuff with Brett Favre?
Yeah. He's pretty much guaranteed his legacy is.
Well, he's already like people are pulling their advertising. Sirius killed his show.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back when he's cleared of all wrongdoing. That's never.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. He took a lot of shots during his career, and with more that every science knows about CTE and stuff like that, and there's no way to really diagnose it while you're still breathing. The only way they know you have CTE is after you die. They carve up your brain and they look. And
I don't even
that's
know
how
what
they tell.
CTE is.
What they've discovered over the last 10 years, certainly, but certainly within the last 5, is that all these players that get these concussions and stuff, something develops in like parts of your brain. It's like kind of like the onset of dementia. You start personality change, all kinds of things.
It's led to like suicides and stuff. Will Smith did that movie about it.
Yeah, suicides. There was one guy who was put away for murder and then killed himself while he was in prison. It's just coming out that all these guys have long-term effects.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So you're saying that you think Brett Favre, the CTE made him?
One thing about
I'm just wondering, like,
one thing about CTE is it makes you make very poor decisions. Okay, Junior Seau was one of the first that we saw that it was high-profile suicide, and the guys are in pain. A lot of these guys, I understand that, but ultimately, you've made more money than the next 100 people in society. You should be pretty well set up if you weren't completely stupid with your money. Larsman, a very good point. Tony Dorsett can no longer drive back and forth to town, gets lost along the way. It just changes the behavior pattern. And I could sort of see, and Brett Favre had a lot of concussions, man, during his career, a lot. And I could see him making some poor business decisions based on that, and I'm not making any excuses for the guy. I mean, you took state money and that was supposed to go to the poor, and you used it to benefit yourself. So
Did he use it to build a stadium for his daughter's football team or something?
No, volleyball team.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he was trying to build something else, and it's all starting to come out. And I just believe that it's hard to say that CTE doesn't have something to do with it. We're seeing such a prevalence of it now that it's just. I kind of feel like a lot of these guys, especially the ones that have taken a lot of hits and had a lot of concussions, is something very concerning about that.
He could also just be a sly, shady guy.
I was going to say, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize, but
it could be.
I don't know if you get hit in the head, it makes you a scumbag. That's just those two things just don't seem to be together.
I hear you. I mean,
but you know what? If they cut up his brain and they find out that's wrong, I'll send money to his charity or something if I'm wrong. But getting hit in the head doesn't seem to be like, well, okay, I'll take state money. He could have spent his own money. He's reportedly worth $100 million. If Daddy's little girl came and said, "I need a volleyball court," okay.
It kind of makes you wonder. I mean, it does make you wonder. If
but we don't know. Your point is valid. We don't know.
I mean, if I had that kind of money and that kind of notoriety, I wouldn't want to ruin my own legacy like that. So it's hard to say. But again,
if you think you'll never get caught, a lot of people do a lot of crazy things that would ruin their legacy.
That's true too. Yeah,
you can see him being assured by state officials. I saw a thing a little while back about the top 5 most corrupt states. Ironically, New Jersey, whose nickname is the Soprano State, was not one of them. They're almost all southern states where money gets diverted, federal money gets diverted from where it's supposed to go to a bridge project, and then it turns out that some state senator's wife owns the company. I don't know if maybe somebody said to him, "Hey, look, man, we can work something out here."
Look, John's become a hand model.
Our previous,
I had to move because we couldn't actually see what he was doing.
No, that's good.
One of our previous governors got taken out of office because he was embezzling money from state funds to like renovate his like beach house or something down on the Gulf Shore. And so he never got hit in the head a lot. I'm just saying, you know, these kind of people are out there.
New Jersey is a soprano state, so I know there might be people thinking, dude, who are you to take shots at another state? Full disclosure, man, this state has been run by a loose association of descendants of organized crime, descendants of organized labor, and descendants of organized politics for 5 decades now. So I totally own that.
That makes the point. They figured out how not to get caught. It's not just not happening; they're just not getting caught.
I pick Nicky the Roach in a room. Like the light's a big thing, and he's calling the shots, and then nobody will think it's me. I publish a comic book company.
So wait, this is a good one. I got to read this. So Stevie B goes, a good lawyer can say his behavior was caused by his time as the Jets quarterback.
That's great. That would break any man.
Too funny, Stevie B. The torture of being a Jets fan. It lasts forever. So how's that coming along, Mar?
We are rocking and we are rolling.
You know what? What do these two characters have in common?
Mariano's calling them.
Aside from that, they sat in the Superman Spider-Man crossover.
That's right.
True.
The Superman Spider-Man crossover.
That's
they were
because it could be argued that both are the greatest arch enemy of their respective heroes.
Especially, I think at the time. That's exactly why they were in there, right?
Joel, yeah, go Fins. I gotta admit, man, the Dolphins are raring out of the gate. They're fun to watch now. They really are. With their massive comebacks every game. So they're doing awesome.
You know, Dr. Octopus is also another one of those characters that's probably been one of the best performances cinematically.
Yeah.
With, Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina did
he did a
really great job in both movies.
Yeah, I would agree. I would totally agree with that. So
I keep forgetting he was the better Spider-Man. My favorite version of Spider-Man is the superior Spider-Man.
Is it time? Is it? My guess was that they both dated
Aunt May. Nice.
All right. So, do you want to drop a name here, John? Or
you know what?
I'm sure the viewers.
I don't have any names to drop. Oh, actually, I do have a name to drop. Somebody mentioned. I think Robbie mentioned Ron Mars. You saw him at
Yeah, totally.
The con. Yeah, had a conversation with Walt Giovanni about. And Walt Giovanni laughed because I said, I just toddled into Nick's office last week and asked him for a sequel to Prophecy, which is a very cool 2012 Dynamite crossover. Go find it somewhere if you haven't read it. This morning, Walt Giovanni posted a piece of art or tweeted a piece of art from that. And I said to him, I just was in Nick's office. And he's like, were you seriously in Nick's office? And Tom Stigowski said, oh, he was in Nick's office. So believe me.
So let's take a quick count here. Is that 3 name drops? Is that what you counted, Robbie? Or
Ron Mars didn't like that tweet until later in the day. So
yeah, I counted
that. That is a definitive.
I don't know if that counts as a name drop.
No, that definitively
2.5 maybe. So
how you know
half a sip,
half a shot.
You can't have a half a shot. I see plenty of people do that half shot thing, trying to be cool. We're like, I know that you didn't take that whole shot, man. I see that.
It would be very cool to see a Dynamite crossover of that level 10 years later, because some of the characters in the first crossover, Dynamite isn't currently doing. There's no Athena. There's no Sherlock Holmes. Oh, the publisher's here right now.
Sell comics. Otherwise, they can't afford to give you gifts.
Forget the gifts. How about the pizza? We're not anywhere near closer to the pizza.
I'm sorry. I think this year's pizza budget was spent on my wall.
Yeah, right.
Well, John brought in a sandwich and then told me the restaurant he bought it from was lousy.
Nice.
They're nice people. They're just not.
Well, what's good is that literally the restaurant that we're talking about is literally around the corner from my house. So it's like a shopping center I frequent. There's a supermarket in it or whatever. John comes over and says, I saw the sign for that new place. And John goes, yeah. Open up that sandwich and don't blame me because it was not good. Yeah, it was not good. And the guy tried to challenge John, the chef, was offended.
Oh yeah, the chef was offended when I
And tried to challenge
help him out a little
John.
bit.
At which point, John had to face him.
I did not face him. The owner's
Slam
wife.
dunked over his head.
I
He
did not.
Yes, you did.
What happened was
Did you say, do you know who you're talking to?
I did not say, do you know who I am? Although that's one of my favorite gifts somebody puts up when I'm at Regal Cinemas. No, I didn't say anything to
Do you
him.
know what I say?
What?
Do you know who I'm not?
There it is. I love that one.
So Stevie B says, John, easy on the name dropping. I have to do blood work tomorrow and don't want to play legally dead.
Dead.
Um,
The guy's wife follows me on Instagram. So when he did what every chef
Stevie
does.
B's wife?
When he gets
kidding.
upset, he came out and he's like, if you think you can do better, come back here to the kitchen. And I just kind of took a deep breath and didn't say anything. And the guy's wife came over. I said, look, I don't do resumes and stuff like that. I said, just go look at my Instagram page and then come back and we'll talk about the sandwich. He didn't come back out for an hour. When he came back out, his demeanor was, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to get loud. I didn't realize.
I have to admit, I opened up the box. It looks kind of greasy.
I offered to help the young man if they're interested.
It looked like a little greasy. It's called Toasted.
It's called
And you have to
Toasted.
understand, there used to be a bagel place there, and it closed down. I didn't really like the bagel place. I got it,
But at least it was cheap.
But it was cheap and it was convenient, right? So literally, to get anywhere from my house, I can take 2 directions.
$18 for
And
a
it's-
terrible sandwich.
Yeah, and then John tells me it's $18. So I actually do appreciate John bringing the sandwich, which I will try.
I just didn't want you to think it was something I made.
Yeah, oh yeah, John had to be clear on that. So now I didn't have to spend $18 to find out that it's lousy. However, I am very disappointed that now I have to wait for them to go out of business, and the place was vacant for years after the bagel shop place closed, and wait for them to stick something else in.
Are we selling these comics that are here, or are these just the freebies to
No,
take home?
they're for you to take home.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're all yours, buddy.
I usually find
Don't
those.
mind the cars with the lights.
I
the blue and
usually
red
find
lights.
the freebies on Mariano's desk.
And-
There's
and
tons
when-
of cards and stuff.
And when
It's
the police
best.
officer pulls his weapon, be as belligerent as possible. Okay.
Possible.
But
All
the
right.
police call my friend Mike. He was over at the food truck thing this weekend.
Oh, I wanted to go to that.
He
I
asked me.
forgot about that.
It was funny. I was walking through, and he was on one of the little bikes they use, and he hit the siren. Whoop whoop! And he's like, you sir, you're gonna need to tell me where to eat. And I turned around, and I saw it was my buddy Mike, and he's like a seasonal officer. He's not like full time anymore. So I took him to different trucks, and it was a lot of the money raised was for charity and for
wanted to
the
do
police
that.
department, which was
I
kinda
saw
cool.
the signs around town. And I love food trucks.
Well, one of the things people don't know is the police budget also handles like emergency services budget here, right?
Right.
So when people are like, oh, what are you raising money for, like more machine guns? No, we're raising money to upgrade, emergency response vehicles in town because
Right.
that's kind of where their budget is based off of.
Right.
And then suddenly nobody said anything and went out and bought stuff.
And
which
it's a
was
big
fine.
town. I mean, Mount Laurel's not a small place.
No.
Yeah. So
There's a reason we have a real fire department. Not,
yeah.
Three
Exactly.
guys with water buckets. I mean, there's like a real fire department here.
3 guys with water buckets. All right. So let's do. Oh, you know what? Let's do a best offer book. All right. So let's do Battlefield's Dear Billy #2, signed by Garth Ennis in silver.
Yeah, it's a Garth Ennis thing, right?
Yeah. Suggested retail of $69.99. It is a best offer book starting for $11. It is 11 of 299 signed in silver, and we have one available for this price.
Wow.
All right.
That's really nice. I've talked about this before. I've tried to get into this series, and it's very, very, very well done. It is just a little too real life, brutal and hard hitting for me. There are certain comics that I appreciate for the quality of their art and storytelling, but for me, comic books, there's still like a 12-year-old me reading comic books inside, right? And to read some of these brutally hard and tragic stories, that's just not me. I mean, anybody who's
But if
into that,
that's your brand of war comic, Garth Ennis does it the best.
absolutely. I mean, this is kind of, I haven't seen anything. I've talked to people who've read this that have served, and they're like, this is about, you know what I mean? This is about as realistic as it gets for a comic book.
All right. So just noticed we're way over the time, so we got to go to our first break.
We'll be back.
We'll be back in a couple minutes, and we'll take a look at Mariano's progress, and we'll talk about what briefly the topic Robbie had on his show on Friday, which was another good choice. Totally way over the number that he told us to cap it at 5, and we went way over. But he goes over too, so and he's the one that comes up with how many we should have. And he came to the show with like 7 or 8. So, all right. So stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. Hey, it's producer Kyle. If you like going places where the action never stops, like Las Vegas, the Caribbean, and Atlantic City, then you're probably not who I want to talk to. But if you want to surround yourself with amazing comic books and comic book content made by a devoted group of smart and funny industry insiders, the Experience Members Club was made for you. You can join the experience by becoming a supporting member of our YouTube channel. You get access to exclusive content that no one else gets, like members-only live streams, pre-sales, one-on-one Q&As with production staff, and other content that's exclusively for members. Plus, for a limited time, if you sign up now, you'll be entered into our giveaway of a slabbed comic book. Just call this 1-8... Wait, hold on. It's 2022. No one makes phone calls anymore. Scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or just visit the membership section of our YouTube page, and you'll be on the VIP line of the comic book buffet, baby. Look at the size of those perks. Join today, and I'll be saying, who loves you, baby? Me. The answer was me.
Stevie B. I saw that in the news. They're going to crash something into an asteroid or whatever to try to change its course.
Yeah, I've seen how this movie works.
Brand new technology.
You know what? I'm actually kind of heartened to hear that we're at that point.
You may or may not be here on Wednesday.
Well, no, they're just going to.
Is this thing coming? What are they just doing it to test it, or is it coming towards us?
Yeah, they're doing it to test it to see that whether or not they. Can
what if they knock it off course? It comes right to us. It's like Deep Impact, man, where they made it.
It's a small one. It's a small asteroid.
It's a small asteroid, which is.
Well, then how does that prove that they could do it to big ones?
It's because the technology is such that you nudge it out of the way and it alters its orbit.
Do they have to send Ben Affleck up there to drill into it if it's bigger?
Let me say this. We may or may not be here for Wednesday's show, is all I can say. Right?
The good news is I've had a good run.
That's great, John.
I've had a good run. I can't really complain.
Just for the scientists out there in the audience, if they did what they did in Armageddon, where they exploded the asteroid, they would end up creating multiple hundreds, thousands of missiles that would hit the Earth.
Yeah.
And if it was really far away and they did it, gravity would just coalesce those rocky pieces back together into one mass coming at us. So the only defense is to knock it out of its trajectory and let it just sail past.
Now, are they doing something to are they going to I don't know, explode something next to it, or are they going to put something on it that's going to have like a propulsion or something? What are they doing? Do you know?
I think that's exactly it.
Doing?
Yes, they're hitting it and knocking it out. So the actual missile or whatever it is that they're launching is actually going to hit it and knock it out.
Nice.
Hopefully. Theoretically.
Here's hoping Isaac Newton was right.
Yes, he is. And his cheerful thought about blowing up an asteroid and turning into thousands of little projectiles is really cheerful.
Just keeping it real.
Especially when you're sending blue collar oil rig workers who have no training whatsoever.
Yeah, that made perfect sense to me. that made perfect sense to me. All right. So, like we did last show, we have something from Mariano, from Apex.
That's right. Better perk up for this one.
Yeah, you need to perk up for this. All right.
Rex Cap. We haven't done any books.
We haven't quite done enough.
You have to do 14 books in a row before we do it.
No, I don't. All right. So it is. So this is also from Apex Comics, and same deals as we did before. $20 shows special price. It has a suggested retail $25, and if you purchase any other items on the show, it's $15. And this time it is the Outer Spaceman #1 signed, and it will come signed by Mariano. All right. So there you go. You're on.
Mariano, who's taking credit for everybody else that worked on that comic. Actually, the writer of that comic is my brother Fabian, and
co-creator of Deadpool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Throw that in there. Although it's a science fiction story that has nothing to do with Deadpool, but okay.
You can't reference these obscure names that nobody's seen in the book.
Exactly. Chris Batista is the artist on the piece and the artist on the cover, and it's once again one of these covers that has that foil metallic treatment to it that I showed you last week.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, the very yeah.
If I had it handy, we'd hold it under the light, but maybe after the next break.
You might have it handy.
We might have it.
We might have it.
Is it possible?
Oh, we need to take the comics John's taking out of here.
What? For me, it's new comic book day. The rest of y'all got to wait till Wednesday. Hey, Alec, what's going on, bud? Nice to stop in.
There it is.
There you go.
Great. Ooh, ah. Okay, so let's see. Do we have to take it out of the bag?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to take it out of the bag. Anyway, the Outer Spaceman, in case you're not familiar with them, was a line of action figures back in the late 60s, right around the time they were doing the Apollo launches. And they were toys that were meant to act and play with Mattel's Major Matt Mason, which was a NASA astronaut toy. And then these were the aliens that Major Matt Mason would have encountered in outer space.
When we go to break, I have a pitch for the Zeroids, also a 60s toy I love.
All right, so the Outer Spaceman #1 signed.
To see if I made that up.
This one is not signed, but the one you get will be signed by Mariano Nicieza. All right, so Mariano will sign, depending on how many orders we collect tonight.
I'll just hold on to this one for safekeeping.
And so you better put that back in the bag and board then. So this will be available the entire show. We have multiple quantities of them. And suggested retail 25, show special of 20 tonight.
John's Filios wants you. Stop talking.
All right. Well, no, we have more than one.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
so John's
there's 100 available for the show.
50 actually.
50 we knocked it down to?
Yes, 50.
50. John, you get 50 after that.
All right. So John, got you
51
down. 51
out of 100 is mine.
And John, if you purchase anything else during the show, it will be $15.
Thank you, John.
20.
Fabian and Chris Batista, thank you too.
All right. So, you know what? That's actually a double name drop because he dropped Fabian's name and it's his brother. So that counts for 2. So if
you guys are lucky that Mariano doesn't see the name drop. You guys were drunk by the first
Everybody
break.
Was sober when you weren't here that Monday and Mariano was here.
Let me tell you what,
2 hours
they got all
3 shots, maybe 4. Okay. All right. I mean, when John's here, 3-4 shots, that could happen in 3-4 minutes. Okay.
I'm very fortunate that most comic book fans, that most comic book creators, believe Nick wants them to talk to me. I'm very. Nick asked me to tweet you this. Did he? Oh, maybe not. Who can say?
Sort of, kind of.
Hey, Nick's going to need you to add a couple pages to the script. So let me just tell people that.
Let's see. Preston, you are correct. We are up to 5 shots. All right. Did you drop anybody else's name while I wasn't paying attention?
Well, in reference to what he just said,
it's 6 now, Preston. Never mind.
I was talking with Benjamin Dewey, and I told him
7.
Nick would really like to see Vampirella in like go-go boots
7.
and like a 60s miniskirt outfit.
All right.
He said, "Did he really ask that?" And I'm like, "Does it matter?" No, Vampirella is going to be.
Hey, Neil, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing better. Jay, our producer, actually has a question for Mariano. It's a good one.
Fire away, Jay.
All right, what's it like?
By the way, just FYI,
Whoa,
the answer
hold
to
on,
the
Nick's
question,
here.
who can say? I would say John and Nick. One will tell the truth, one may not.
All right, so what's it like collaborating with your brother?
Actually, that's a good question. So, obviously, I've known him my whole life.
Mariano is still upset with his brother. They were watching the Clint Eastwood movie,
Oh, no.
and they're watching the movie, and they're talking about the Deadpool, and Mariano goes, "You know what would be great? A character called Deadpool."
Oh, boy.
Fabian said, you need more to it." Mariano laid something out. Fabian said, nah. A couple years later, coincidentally.
That's the truth.
Was he upset because you were your mother's favorite?
That's the truth.
Is that what
He
it
was
was?
upset because Mariano got the hair.
Let's go back and answer this question. Well, because you get to know somebody, obviously you grow up with them, right? But he has this whole side that's professional, where he has created and he's written. And the times that I've actually worked with him in that capacity, where we're working as professionals, I am bowled over by his skills. He is an amazing writer. He's got an amazing feel for stories and characters, and it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Well said, Mariano.
Yeah.
But when you work unprofessionally, it's different. Is the
then
idea.
I win all the arguments, and
Does anybody else have a funny feeling that Fabian may be watching?
Could you imagine?
I'm
that?
just saying. I mean, come on now.
I let him know that we were on.
Let me tell you
So
about
the
the real
answer
origin
is
of Deadpool.
yes.
Oh no.
All right, let's get another book out there so that I can do the Rex caption. All right, so then we have New Avengers number 40 signed by artist Jim Chung. And we have one available for $49.99.
I don't know if there's any major character in Marvel that's been interpreted and reinterpreted as many times as the Hulk. I mean, how many times?
you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, that's a good point.
I mean,
that's a very valid.
You've got Kirby's original sort of version of the Hulk, right? And then you kind of go to this, like almost like Jim Steranko look, where he's almost like a much more buff Steve Reeves or something, like a 60s guy or whatever. And then throughout time, I mean, you kind of go through these things where Dale Keown practically turns him into the Pit, or vice versa. And, you get all these different versions. I mean, look at the version on the cover of the Hulk.
Yeah.
In
And
another
all the
book.
different personalities too, right? Where you have Mr. Fix-It and you got the smart Hulk and all that stuff. Devil Hulk.
I don't know if they've done that with any other sort of major Marvel character.
Wait, I got one.
Oh, go ahead.
I got one. Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
Look at all the iterations that Captain Marvel
that's
has
true.
gone through.
That's very true.
Three
You've got-
really good strong ones, right? Because you got the original Marvel and you got Carol and you got Monica. And then you got Janice Vell. So that's 4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Janice Vell for a while. That's right.
So Sean Butler says he sees that Mariano is a fellow Southpaw.
That's true.
There you go.
That's
You know
true.
what? I got to say
You
something.
can't fake that on the camera.
I never noticed that, actually, to be quite honest with you. I never noticed you were Southpaw. Do you find
Get ready to drink. Get ready to drink.
Here we go.
You know who else is a famous Southpaw?
Who?
I discovered it by accident.
Who?
Stan Lee. Left-handed.
All right, that's a double shot.
Excelsior, two
That's
shots.
a double shot. That's a double
That's a
shot right
double
there.
shot.
So we're up to 9 people. Catch up.
Oh man,
Happy to help. Happy
Yeah.
to help.
See, there you go. See,
Oh,
I
man.
explained the rules to the game to Mariano after the first show. He was on with us last Monday. Now he gets it. That was a good one, Mariano. That was a double shot.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
get into Robbie's point about the different versions of Captain Marvel, which Mariano mentioned.
Mhm.
Marvel actually had 2 iterations himself, right? Because he's the green and white costume with the helmet and the unibeam blaster or whatever it was. And then he comes back where I guess that just didn't get over with the crowd. So then all of a sudden he comes back with the blue, the red and blue suit, the nega bands, and that whole sort of. So you've got him 2. His son was 3. You've got Carol Danvers is 4. Monica Rambeau is 5. I'm not counting all the weird sort of what if versions of Captain Marvel.
That's true, because he came back as like a half Skrull.
Yeah, he came back as a half Skrull.
Wasn't Quasar at one point a Captain Marvel for like a brief stint or something like that, maybe? And then visually speaking, one that's been reinterpreted and over again is Iron Man, right? Because there's always new armor.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I read there was at one point. I read there's they're up to 40 or 41 different like updates for his major updates for the
especially nowadays, because every artist wants to have their imprint on an Iron Man design, right? And get tons of that, man. I remember that a lot, like in the 80s and the Leighton stuff that I was reading as a kid, where he had the Hydro armor and the stealth armor and the space armor. I loved it. I ate that stuff up.
I love that stealth armor.
Yeah.
Where it's all black and the eyes were red. That was cool.
Very cool.
All right. So Sean Butler is asking, how about Daredevil?
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Had the 90s Daredevil with the armor.
Yeah.
All right.
The extreme Daredevil.
We had Elektra becomes Daredevil. I think at one point, right?
Yeah. Currently she's a Daredevil. So yeah.
She's currently.
All right. So let's take a look at that one, Mariana. Can you hold that up to the camera?
Sure.
Because it looks like you're getting close to being done.
Nice.
And there you have it.
Boy.
All right. And this has already been claimed by Creative Key. So this one is gone. All right. But that is a work that you're watching being created as we speak.
I did like a little deep dive a couple of weeks ago back into Marvel 2099.
Right.
And it's remarkable how 2099 things are still very much the 90s. In the different sort of, my favorite of those books, I read those books. My favorite of those books was Doom 2099. I thought that was sort of like the best version of that of the 2099 books. But essentially, with a few tweaks, everybody's costumes were still very 1990s.
Right.
Oh, like the Punisher, like his costume. Oh my goodness, I
love.
love.
He's wearing like a giant metal skull or something, right? Or
yeah, and then, but you're right. The Doom stuff was good, and I think one of the main reasons is because it was still Victor, so you still had decades of that character to build on, right?
Yes.
So it was Doom in the future. He time traveled to the future where there's no Reed Richards, so now he can conquer the world finally, right? And the latter bit. Like the last third of Ghost Rider 2099 had some early Ashley Wood artwork that is gnarly and like
really?
Flattery and all kind. It's so cool artistically. It was like it was unlike a lot of other stuff being published at the time.
Oh, now I got to go back and look at that.
Lars Man says we need to clarify what counts as a name versus a reference. All right, so we will say that Robbie will be the arbiter of such decisions.
Well, in theory, every time we mention Mariano, somebody should have to take a shot.
Well, I feel like a name drop is like you alluding to you having some kind of connection to them, right?
Yes,
where you're like, I was
That's
talking
kind of what
to.
I thought too,
Yeah.
62 Lefty, what's going on, buddy?
I mean, if I say Christopher Priest wrote this book, that's not a name drop. That's like a fact.
Yes,
he wrote
correct.
He wrote
Correct.
the book.
I agree. I would agree with that. So there you go. That's how we're going with the rules going forward for the game.
Nice.
All right, so I think we've done enough. I can do a quick Reds cap.
This book, on the other hand, I had extensive conversations with Tom Stigowski and Janine Atchison about
10. That's 10.
So that's the difference.
All right, so starting off, you know what? Let me throw this out there too with the Rex cap.
Oh, you're Rex cap? Cool.
Yeah, we have the Dynamite 10-pack reader set. 10 random Dynamite titles. Suggested retail $40. The cover price $3.99 or higher, so it could be higher than $40. And as always, we do the 10 random 10-pack for $5. Thank you to our viewers. And if you want, because of the weight, shipping gets a little bit higher than really what you're paying for the 10-pack. We can send a media mail if you request. All right, then next up we had New Avengers number 40, signed by artist Jim Chung. And we have one available for $49.99. Then we had Battlefield's Dear Billy number 2, signed by Garth Ennis in silver. Suggested retail $69.99. It is a perfect 10 read, and it is a best offer book starting at $11. Then we had a CCA by Mariano and Joe Del Beato. It is a Captain America number 695 blank variant signed by Joe Del Beato, Mariano Nicieza, with a Spider-Woman cover sketch. Suggested retail of $149.99, and we have one available for $75. All right. So then, you know what? I'm going to throw this. Oh, and then we had the Apex comic title, The Outer Spaceman #1, signed by Mariano Nicieza. Suggested retail of $25, special show price of $20. And if you purchase another item on the show, you will get The Outer Spaceman for $15. All right, and we have multiple copies of that, 50 as a matter of fact. So
I like this cover. I like the phaser cover too.
Yeah, foil's really
Foil
cool.
covers are
Yeah,
cool.
foil's super cool. And obviously, it is a project that Mariano worked on with his brother Fabian Nicieza and, of course, Chris Batista. All right, so that is available tonight, again, for $20 special price, and then $15 if you purchase another item.
Who's the local? Make mine Apex.
All right, so
You're good.
So, yeah, Ron. Lars, man, just take a drink every time John starts talking. It's gonna be a short show for Lars, man, buddy. That's for sure. All right. So next up, we have the Uncanny Inhumans #0, signed by Charles Soule, and we have one available, number 6 of 100, for $29.99.
I think most people agree this is a creator we don't see as much work from as we'd like.
I would agree with that.
You know what I
He's-
mean? I
he's
think
got a- You're talking about Charles Soule, right?
Yeah.
He's got that smash hit right now, 8 Billion Genies. It just got picked up by, I think, Amazon. 4 issues have gone to like 3 different printings. It's like hyping up on the spec lists. It's hyping up on the aftermarket. And if you've never read 8 Billion Genies by Charles Soule, it is actually super fantastic. But everybody on Earth gets a genie, and they'll grant them one wish. And it's everybody, including like small children, right? So the world just goes into chaos. But it's a really solid book so far. So that's a cool pickup because he's about to be a
That's
top
That is a
dog.
very interesting premise.
It is.
I have one wish. I want to be a genie.
And the structure of the book is cool. So like the first issue is the first 8 minutes, and the second issue is the first 8 hours, and then the first 8 days, and then the first 8 weeks, and then months. It's just like
I
that,
would
right?
wish for more wishes.
You wish. There you go. Wish for more wishes.
He said that's some of the
That's
rules.
why
You
he's in
can't do
charge.
that. They're like you can't wish for more wishes or something like that. But it's
Right,
crazy.
that's
Like
gotta be
the planet, like all of a sudden is a square. You know, because like what does a 2-month-old wish for?
like the Bizarro Homeworld. This is giant
Right.
cube in space.
Right. That's a good point. And chaos ensues.
Yeah, there's like giant robots in the sky, like the sun's alive and running around. Like it's all kinds of
I
weird
wish
stuff.
I wish nobody had a wish but me. And then I'll sit down and wait. So you got to think of these things. You think these things through.
Oh my lord.
Everyone else loses their wishes.
And that's
I
why
still have
genies-
one left.
And that's why genies don't exist and why we can see chaos will ensue.
That's
We're not
exactly
a
right.
2-month-old. We just need John. And it all get messed up. Let's see.
Oh, you see that Charles Soule was hired by Lucasfilm. Yeah, well then I guess we really aren't going to see that much more comics.
Yeah, probably not.
If he has his own stuff and these sort of
Oh, Jay, are we breaking up a bit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was just asking if that was me or if that was y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see.
We can hear you now. You're a little fuzzy though,
We
at
are
least on
fuzzy?
my end.
Let's see.
Yeah, just a little fuzzy, and you're kind of cutting in and out.
We are.
we are. What would be funny is if we were just doing it here, like skipping every other word to.
Yeah, just to mess with you.
Meanwhile, in the control room, people are throwing switches.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You guys all been drinking too much.
Mariano's not just actually coloring the comics; he's also remixing the stream as he's doing it.
That would be great.
As I am wont to do.
Here we go. We're
So,
gonna move it over here for right now.
Let me see. Yeah, we do look a little
Yeah,
fuzzy.
your iPad's getting really great reception. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, the iPad's great, isn't it?
You get rid of this laptop thing. Let's just use iPads from now on.
Okay, so you're gonna come in early next show and help me get all that figured out, John.
Alexa, send a bunch of iPads to Dynamite.
So, all right. So hopefully we're getting a little clearer. If necessary,
Yeah, you look a lot better now.
okay. I don't know what happened. It could be, I'm just going to blame Comcast because that's what I
I'm
always
gonna blame
do.
Comcast.
It is their fault. The crappy internet. It hasn't gotten any better until they've had competition.
You keep talking about the crappy internet. It's going to happen again. So I think you should just calm down.
I don't think it works that way.
We'll
Robbie.
just be a test pattern real shortly.
I don't think it works that way, my friend.
Don't put that energy out there into the internet, okay? You got.
Okay. So, all right. So, John Spilios, you are claiming the
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
John, this thing is. I'm literally watching it being done like as we speak. It's very.
It is very cool.
One of my favorite villains ever, and that does them
can all see
justice.
it being done.
Yeah, but I'm actually here. It counts more.
What were you saying, Robbie?
Well, I said Luther's one of my favorite villains, and this image is doing him justice. And I'm sure Mariano's going to do the colors justice.
It is very cool to watch Mariano work, and he's been working on a lot of them of late to help us out with CCAs. So it's really kind of cool to watch him.
Now, to be fair, the lion's share of the credit here goes to Mr. Del Beato because I'm kind of filling in the lines, but he pulled this whole thing together.
Oh, so I'm guessing Joe's watching as well.
It's possible.
That's
he
a
was
name
watching,
drop.
but even if he
name
was
drop?
watching,
Sorry, that was a name drop. 11.
That was a name drop.
even if he wasn't watching, I would be speaking from the heart.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's still a name
Did you
drop.
tell me Joe was sending a new shipment out tomorrow?
That's what I've heard.
John S. Wednesday night, you might be really happy.
Ooh.
If not Wednesday, then Friday.
Can we get some budget money to send Ken Hazer Red Bull so, get him moving on? Imagine a box of rice from Dynamite. Our best wishes, and it's just Red Bull.
And a box of Adderall.
Oh, God. All right. So let's see. All right. And to remind everybody, we still have the Outer Space Men #1 signed by Mariano. It is suggested retail 25. It is a show special for 20. 15 if you purchase another item. So John, since you're purchasing that, you're going to get the Outer Space Men at 15, buddy. Just so you know. And John Spilios, what are you claiming, my friend? The we're not sure if we're getting it this week yet.
I think that's what he's claiming.
We didn't even tell you what it was.
You didn't care.
It's going to be a My Little Pony sketch. You just wait and see. It's going to be great.
Imagine that he opens up his envelope.
Like,
welcome,
what is
Bronies.
this?
What?
It'll be Rainbow Dash. You just wait and see.
Too funny. Oh my gosh. All right. So we got to go to our next break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Who would win, Batman or Superman? It's the age-old debate, except it's so much more complicated than that. Nerd Killer Warfare every week on The Experience is your chance to debate other nerds in the questions we've all been asking for years, except we take those debates and turn them up to 11. Go to bit.ly/EXP casting or scan the QR code to be part of the show. Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner.
You're watching The Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
right, and we're back. So Mariano's hard at work getting the Lex Luthor finished up. We have actually all of the Joe Del Beato Mariano CCAs have been claimed except for Captain America number 695 blank variant signed by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza with the Spider-Woman cover sketch. It's just a retail of $149.99, and we have the one available for $75. All right, and of course, all of these are all signed by both. And we brought this partially colored one on air on Wednesday, and then Mariano was kind enough to finish it up on the weekend so that we had it available as a full colored CCA for tonight. So I did read something rather controversial. I forget who the artist is, but apparently, I guess CGC is sponsoring their own private signing and cover sketches, which will be graded. So I thought that was an interesting development, something new. So Mariano, so you mix colors? Is that what you do?
Actually, let's put back for a second the Spider-Woman, because I just wanted two quick comments, especially if Del Beato's watching. So I did first thing I did was a Frank Miller homage with the bricks. That's from like Sin City. If you look at the original Spider-Woman cover, that it didn't have that. It had kind of like a spotlight. And I took one of the bricks and I used it as a tool to fix her left leg, because the thigh and the ankle looked a little thick to me. So I was able to narrow it down by just simply adding the black of the brick shadow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which thinned it out. So yes. Okay. So back to your question. If we want to switch back to this one with Lex Luthor, I use mixed media, which is markers and pencils. I could use all sorts of stuff, but on these covers, I don't want them to warp, so watercolors don't work too well.
Right.
So I stick with markers and colored pencil, and I start with a base coat, which is what I'm doing here with Lex Luthor. I'm just picking a color that will be the base, and usually it's a lighter color, and then I come in with darker colors and enhance and tweak and add shadow and whatever dimension to get the final result.
Full effect. That's interesting.
That's what Mariano's doing over here in the corner.
That is very interesting.
See, we can't imagine that because we don't have talent. It's just us being on TV. But
You have talent. Don't be silly.
This is what it's like when you can actually do
he has talent when you're hungry.
And isn't that important?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because otherwise I'd still be working.
He's like my personal restaurant guide. You know, I don't have to look online or anything. I just got to ask John.
I'm not going to be eating my colored pencils.
One of my Twitter followers very kindly suggested I have an app. There's a million apps out there for you to find food. My recommendation to this day is you just jump in and go look. That roadside chicken stand that you're like, I'm not going to go eat there, probably is busting out some of the best chicken you've ever had. And that bright, shiny corporate place where everything is pristine, there's a good chance those burgers are going to be very average in flavor. They're going to be, corporate food tends to be 10 people in a room. How will this food not offend anybody? I don't cook to not offend people. I offend to make people, for lack of a better term, show their face.
Right.
And when you have corporate people putting together, well, we're going to put 100 of these stores across the country, they're just worried about dollars and cents, what we get on the menu. There's a whole bunch of charts and all that other stuff. That's why I stay out of places like that.
And making it a simple process for people to be trained to just produce it meaninglessly, like over and over and over.
Right. Be able to mass produce something.
I've done some teaching assisting at culinary school, and we will have students come in that will have claimed to be through, Romano Macaroni Grill's 6-week culinary program. And I literally have to show these people how to fold eggs into an omelet, which is pretty much culinary school, like day 1, day 2. Like I'll have to show them how to properly.
How do you do that anyway? My omelets always break
apart.
Very carefully.
Probably a spatula is involved.
But how to get the the inside kind of still kind of goopy, but the outside a little firmer. It never works out. It always ends up being like scrambled eggs.
Take the pan, you throw it up in the air, and it flips.
Eggs are my favorite thing to cook.
Stay in your lane, Mariana.
All right, I'll stay out of it. Sorry, John.
No, eggs are one of my favorite things to cook. And yeah, I mean, you have the time and patience. People always have their pan too high. People try to be superheroes and make omelets in cast iron. No. Don't do that. You get
I learned that the hard way.
Get a non-stick pan. It doesn't need to be blazing high, medium heat. Get yourself some decent quality eggs. I hate to say it, but those supermarket eggs, the reason that they're so pale is they're mass produced. They're sort of irradiated.
I actually can get now farm fresh eggs.
Yes.
Because one of the players on my daughter's team, the family lives on a farm and has chickens.
Yeah.
So I made a bargain with them.
Hey, someone asked me that on Instagram one day. Man, how do you get your eggs that color? I didn't. The farmer got them that color with the help of the chicken and the feed. That's the color eggs are supposed to be. The white and the yellow is supposed to have a big disparity. They're not supposed to be right here.
Right.
That's where all the flavor is. You just take your time. You get yourself a nice silicone spatula. Easy. Keep the pan gently moving. Kind of fold in. And that's how you get like the rolled French omelet.
Gotcha. Okay.
You don't have to add. I mean, if you want to add a ton of stuff to it, that's fine. But French omelet is really just butter, eggs, properly cooked, folded, maybe finished with a little salt at the end, and you're done.
Actually, serious question.
Sure.
Serious question. The difference between brown eggs and white eggs, like, what's up with that? How come some of them?
Breed of chicken, type of feed. Weather conditions can affect the color of eggs. Taste wise, and I know people are like, "Oh, don't say this." Taste wise, there's no different. If I pick up a brown egg and a white egg on the same farm, they're going to taste almost exactly the same.
Interesting.
It is.
But I just remember being as a kid, a dozen eggs were always white. Then all of a sudden, these brown eggs started getting introduced into the mix.
Well, that's because for a long time, and I really don't want to take over the show with this, but too much of supermarket food, everything has to look perfect, right? That's where there's these services out there that'll send you food that's healthy and perfectly good, but it didn't make it to your supermarket because it doesn't have a perfectly round shape. Nothing in nature is perfect, but supermarkets require that.
Right.
Eggs come in different sizes. For years and years when I was catering, people were, "Oh, quail eggs are the hot new thing." Quail eggs were super expensive, super fast. I went to the farm where I have relatives that own farms out in Pennsylvania, and I got peewee eggs, which are like half the size of a regular egg. And people couldn't tell the difference between a peewee egg and a quail egg.
That's interesting.
This tastes delicious. I love quail eggs.
So, Ed Weird, thanks for joining us, buddy. And Triple B actually has a relevant question for Mariano. He's asking, what kind of ink are you using?
So Del Beato is actually doing the inking, and Mr. Joseph Del Beato is using India ink. Now, I don't know the exact brand of India ink, but he's using India ink. And I specify any artist that I work with that's inking pencils to use India ink and not markers, because, again, the minute you start doing mixed media, markers, watercolor, you tend to the risk of those lines running. But India ink will never run. Did that help?
Help me. So when you're doing the coloring, you're using pencils and markers.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And if it was a different type of paper, because all of these covers are the same type of paper, I would be using watercolor. But if I was going to use watercolor,
it's going to warp
these. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
When I do sketch cards, it's a much thicker card stock, and I can use watercolor on those.
Gotcha. Okay. So that is an interesting distinction, actually. All right. So next up, we've got, let's do some Dynamite books. Panther number 5, Incentive Black and White cover, 1:15 ratio by Jorge Fornes. And we have one available for $16.99. And this is an Incentive Black and White cover.
The covers for Panther in particular, I mean, Dynamite always does a bunch of different covers, right?
Right.
The selection of covers for Panther is wildly disparate compared to some of the other stuff. And I mean, you can look at this. This is the same cover. I'm just going to hold it up here. This is the same book, the same cover. And look at the difference. I mean, the style, everything about it is completely different. This is the same book. I mean, I can't remember a Dynamite comic where the styles shifted that wild.
Right. All right. So then next up, you know what? We'll take care of.
This one's Al Barrionuevo, and there have been a couple comments where, and I don't agree with it. I think the style is his own, but there are comments that have made that he's sort of trying to channel a little bit of Alex Ross realism into it. That's not why I like his artwork. Shauna White.
All right. Let's do another Dynamite book. Let's do looks like we have a Lucio Perillo cover. So Vampirella Year 1, number 3, Virgin Incentive UV, 1:15 ratio cover by Lucio Perillo. Is it
Lucio Perillo?
Oh my God, you have Amy in here telling you how to pronounce this now?
Too bad Dave Sorrell's not here. All right, it's just a retail of $50, and we have one available for $19.99.
That is
I love the covers. I mean, the colors on that are amazing.
He's just an amazing painter.
He is. Triple B is reminding us it is 1 minute to impact of the asteroid. Okay, this is very relevant news. I hope that the elliptical orbit will have shifted, which is I believe the purpose. All right, John Spilios, you're claiming Vampy. You got it, buddy.
What if it's not even an asteroid? What if it's actually an egg from some kind of space predator and we crack it and it opens? I mean, that could be a bad thing too.
Then you're going to get such horrible indigestion when that little alien pops out of your stomach, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's going to hurt. That looked painful. I remember.
John, would you eat an alien? Like if we found like an alien, but they were like,
if it was fresh and organic, sure. You know why? Because I've seen plenty of movies where they'd eat me and not hesitate. Not these outer spacemen. They look friendly.
John would spend his time trying to find the best dish to make with the alien. Okay, so
if I leave the egg long enough, it's going to burst out, and then it'll be bursting out of my chest. So we're gonna do this the other way. I'm gonna crack open the egg, and I'm gonna be cracking into its chest.
Oh Lord!
So John shows up in the alien movie, and like he just eats the eggs. He just starts like making. He's like, "This is how you fold a French omelet."
This thing was on Kane's face. Not anymore.
Oh my God.
We had a conversation about like quintessential Vampirella artists, and far and away, I think Lucio Perillo was the pick, was the choice. And it's hard to sort of argue with that too much. I mean, he's not my quintessential artist choice for Vampirella, but that's because I'm old. I grew up with Jose Gonzalez, so to me that's how Vampirella is supposed to look. But for the vast majority of comic fans that aren't ancient, I think you've had Lucio Perillo do this for I think let's say 14 years he's been doing Vampirella covers for Dynamite.
Wow.
I think so. I'll have to check.
Well, no one would know better than you. And weird, these alien pods have burst open. Run for your lives. No, wait, John just ate them.
We're good. How do we stop them? I need a nonstick pan, a silicone spatula, and a large tub of butter.
All right, Triple B is reporting live on the asteroid impact. So we have impact apparently.
Assuming it's in the ocean because
and Jay needs Robbie to make a verdict on whether or not that was a name drop. I don't believe it was.
No, Lucio Perillo?
Yeah.
I don't think that, again, I'm referencing.
He's referencing.
It's not like I said, hey, I called him today and we talked about Vampirella.
Hey, Ron, no problem, buddy. We'll see you on Wednesday, brother. All right. So that's a good
Is he
point.
worried about the asteroid egg cracking? Is that what
I know,
Ron's
like? Funny. We got the asteroid egg and then Ron's like, I'm out. He's boarding up his house and windows, telling his wife, you're going to use that taser for real.
Oh my God. Let me see. So how's Mariano doing over there? Let's take a shot at that camera if you get a chance there, Jay. All right. It's coming along.
Rolling right along.
It's amazing how you do this.
It is?
It is. It really is. For those of us that can't do it, yes.
You could do this.
Jay, I would say you should be at 11. Okay. To the point where the buttons on your laptop are going to become a little bit and weird. That wasn't an asteroid impact. I had Taco Bell for lunch. Oh, too funny. Too funny. All right, so let's do. Oh, here we go. Let's do another book. We've got Guardians 3000, number 1, signed in silver by Alex Ross. Number 16 of 25, signed in silver.
He's amazing too.
Yeah,
I love his stuff.
And we have one available for $199.99.
Oh, I get out of here for a lot less than that. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Now I've got an Alex Ross story.
Oh, we're stopping the show. Go ahead.
I've got an
That's
Alex
a name
Ross
drop.
This is also 2 shots.
I'm just going to. Yeah.
It is?
Is that
no, wait, the cover is right there. I'm talking about the artist that illustrated that cover.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not really a name drop.
Well, it depends on what the story is.
So the story is back in the day, in the 90s, when I was an art director at Marvel. There was a program I was doing called Marvel Limited. So we were producing collectible material for the shops, and it was all very exclusive. And I was working with Alex, and
there it is.
That's a double
name. That's a double shot.
That constitutes a name.
I was just waiting. I was just waiting for him, and I was working with Alex. And
if you're involved in it, yeah.
Right. Thank you, arbiter of what is.
As I was saying before, Rex completely wrecked my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
As I was trying to get out.
That's right, Steve B. Alex Ross. I'm making
The
it a double
premise
shot.
was: have you ever colored over somebody else's pencils? Because comics is sort of an assembly line process. Somebody pencils, another person inks, another person colors. So my question to him was: have you ever worked from anyone else's pencils? Have you ever done paintings? And the answer was no. So John Romita was there's another name.
There's a name drop.
John Romita was the art director and a famous, obviously, Spider-Man artist. So the premise became John Romita is going to do a Spider-Man piece of art, and Alex is going to color it and paint it in his style.
Junior or senior?
Senior. Sorry, this was senior.
That's a double shot as well.
It was the first time.
We have no one watching.
It was the first
time.
Remember, don't turn off YouTube if you pass out. Leave it running, please. Thank you.
It was the first time Alex had ever done that. And from that point on, he did it with other artists, and it became a thing where he painted John Buscema, he painted Jack Kirby, but the very first time was John Romita back in the 90s.
That's awesome.
Spider-Man Green Goblin piece.
I remember when he did the Crisis, where he painted the George Perez piece. That was awesome.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Romita was first, though. That as he should be, So there you go.
All right.
He did the Legion of Superheroes, and when I say the Legion of Superheroes, I mean all of them. And it is in like a giant 20-foot banner that hangs over wherever they build the Alex Ross gallery at a con. Like you walk in, and if you're if you're a Legion of Superheroes fan, that is the highlight of your con.
All right, so we have a couple of Bronze Age books tonight as well.
Take a break. I need to refill.
Yeah, so we gotta give no more name drops, guys, for a few more minutes because Preston has to go grab another bottle. This game can get expensive. So all right, so we have a couple of Bronze Age comics tonight. We have Uncanny X-Men number 236. And we have one available for $20. And I think after looking at it, I think it was a 7.5, presumed grade, more or less. So that is available for $20 tonight. Trying to mix it up. So brought some Bronze Age books out here to see if anybody had any interest.
Well, I mean, we're going to be getting more. We're going to be getting mutants in the MCU.
Right.
And this is Silvestri, isn't it? Is this Silvestri? That's a Silvestri.
It does look like Mark Silvestri. Although, who's a friend of Mark Silvestri?
Give Preston a minute.
Okay.
He's stumbling over to his liquor cabinet as we speak.
His childproof liquor cabinet.
He may have run into something and fallen. Who knows? I mean, give the man a minute.
That is too funny.
For goodness sakes, please. Don't want the man to hurt himself rushing to his liquor cabinet. I mean, come on now.
I will say.
All right, Preston, he says he's back. Go ahead.
I will say that looks like Mark Silvestri. The person we should probably call him here is Nick.
Okay, why?
Because hasn't Nick hung out with all these guys endlessly?
You want to kill someone? Is that what you're aiming for?
Nick, why don't you go on in here for a second? No.
I'm not even sure what the laws are
I know
on
who
this.
to get away with on the phone with. So I got Dave Avalone on the phone. And what I say to him is,
oh, my God. All right. I'm not calling that a name drop. We'll just say that was a joke. All right, so next up we got Shadowland number 2, variant signed by Billy Tan. I think the
This
black
is
and white
cool.
variant.
Wow, this is very cool.
One of 4 of only 5 signed, and we have the one available for $29.99.
Look at how heavy those blacks are. Wow. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and that's a John Cassaday cover, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah, that looks like a John Cassaday cover.
So Jay says it's like frat house hazing in here. Kinda. Oh my gosh. Oh, too much fun. So all right. So you say, should I do a Rex cap?
Yeah, I think it's a good spot.
Yeah, before we have to go to our last and final break. So as always, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles. Suggested retail of $40 or higher. And as always, we have all 10 comics for $5 for the set. The 10-pack reader set, 50 cents a comic. You really can't lose. I know a lot of our viewers pick them up, and we try to mix it up so we do not duplicate titles. Then we had New Avengers number 40 signed by artist Jim Chung. And we have one available for $49.99.
You saw Peter Cannon in the Reader's 10-pack? We're getting new Peter Cannon soon.
Yeah, but that's an old photo.
No, but I know, but that reminded me we're getting new Peter Cannon.
Okay.
You know who pestered the publisher constantly for Peter Cannon?
Gee, can't even imagine.
I can't imagine. I don't know.
Who could that be? Lyle, what's going on, buddy?
be?
Thanks for joining us, man. All right, so then we had Shadowland number 2, variant signed by Billy Tan. And it is number 4 of only 5 signed, and we have one available for $29.99. All right, then we had our best offer book, Battlefield's Dear Billy number 2, signed by Garth Ennis in silver. Suggested retail is $69.99, and we have one available. It is a best offer book starting at $11. Then we did the Uncanny Inhumans number 0, signed by Charles Soule. We have one available, and we have it for $29.99. All right, Ward Rupenstein, you got it, buddy. All right, so Ward Rupenstein is opening us up at $11. All right, and then Uncanny Inhumans, we have one available for $29.99. It is number 6 of 100 signed. Then we did Guardians 3000, number 1, signed in silver by Alex Ross. And it is number 16 of 25 signed in silver. We have one available for $199.99. And then Lars, man, we did not do any slabs tonight. We will have slabs back on Wednesday, waiting for shipments from CGC to come in. We've pretty much done all of them. And we'll try to get something. Do we have anything ASM CCAs coming in, you think, Mariana, from Joe?
Which one?
Amazing Spider-Man's. Anything Spider-Man related.
Preston and I
More
are still...
than likely, yes. The answer is yes, that there will be a Spider-Man cover. I don't know who the character is going to be on the Spider-Man cover, but I do know that there will be some Spider-Man covers coming in.
Preston, we are waiting for some new statues. Pretty much every statue we put on the air has been something you've seen before. I'm hoping some will cut loose soon on different projects within the company. So as soon as I have them, I'm going to put them up there, my friend.
I think you guys should do a Venom cover, Mariano, because I think that would be relatively easy to color.
How about Carnage?
Oh, there
That
you
would
go.
be great, actually.
I
That would be cool.
think we can swing Carnage.
Carnage,
Get
that'd
it?
be
Swing Carnage.
That's why you're a legend in the
Thank
industry.
you. Thank
I
you.
get that. And then they'll put it up and they'll slash the price.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Mariano
It'll
is a tremendous creator in the comic book universe.
It'll be collectible carnage.
His stand-up career should start and end right here. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
And rightfully so.
All right, then we had Uncanny X-Men number 236. I think it's about a 7.5, and we have one available for $20. It's really actually in very good shape.
Part of the classic
And then-
run.
And then the final CCA out of the 4 that we had tonight is Captain America number 695, blank variant signed by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza with Spider-Woman cover sketch. We had it partially colored on Wednesday's show, And then Mariano was nice enough to finish it up over the weekend for us, so we had it available for the show. Suggested retail of $149.99, and we have one available for $75. This is the last CCA of the night. The other ones are all claimed.
That red is so deep, man. Look at it.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the Outer Spaceman available with any of these purchases.
I was getting to that, my friend.
You were?
It's part of the rec
jumping the gun.
So it is the
Except this
encore
one's
book.
suckers. This one's mine.
So again, this is the last CCA out of the 4 done by the Joe Del Beato, Mariano, and Nicieza team. We'll have more in the future, but this is it. Then we had, let's see, Panther number 5, Incentive black and white cover, 1:15 ratio by Jorge Fornes. And we have one available for $16.99. And then Lars Man wants an Amazing Spider-Man with Spider-Man and Deadpool chicken fighting with Lee and Kirby. Now that would be a CCA.
Man, we really have people drunk at this point, don't we?
Oh, they're hammered.
The sober mind doesn't put up with that.
All right. So then, like we did last Monday when Mariano was here, this is a title from his own publishing company. The Outer Spacemen #1 signed, and the copy that you get will be signed by Mariano. And it has a retail price of $25. We have a special show price of $20 and $15 if you've purchased any other item during the show. And we have multiple copies available. All right. And it's the Apex comics that I've gotten from Mariano are a great read. So it's definitely something you should check out. And he's worked in conjunction with Fabian and Batista, Fabian Nicieza and Batista on this project. All right. So that is also available. And we do have multiple quantities. And Mariano, Jay has asked that you hold up the Outer Spaceman to the camera, if you would, so we can see the shininess of the foil. And explain the foil technique as well again, if you don't mind.
So the printer calls this I can never get this lined up right. Working on it.
And Mariano hasn't been drinking.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And I'm sober. Okay,
It's
there we go.
microfumes.
So it's called a cold foil stamped cover. And the art is created the way a cover would normally be created with coloring and inking. But they fill in different color foils everywhere, and the black lines surprint on top of the foil. So it's got, I don't know how many foils are in here, dozens of different foils. You can kind of tell to the naked eye, it looks really, really cool. It's tough to kind of show on camera, but it's a really fun effect. And the Outer Spaceman, by the way, I just have to throw in because I haven't mentioned them all night.
Yeah.
Two wonderful folks, Mel Burnkrant and Gary Schaefer, are the creators. Mel Burnkrant created the toys back in the late 60s and is really the designer and the mentor. And Gary Schaefer came along in the mid 2000s and jumped in to help him with marketing and really pushing these things into the new century. So they're really fun toys. They're characters that you've seen out there for a long time. And I'm really, really proud and happy to be working on this project.
John, certainly that's very nice of you. We can add one for Robbie as well.
I'm not worthy. Thank you so much, John. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Robbie.
That cover looks, I'm a sucker for foil covers. I was like 11 in the early 90s. So,
Nobody wants to know that, Robbie.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to make y'all feel bad.
Out in the parking lot, Mariano will be like, wait, you were serious? You really want one?
All right. So we got to go to our last and final break.
Car.
Stay with us, and we'll check on Mariano's progress on Lex Luthor. Some more conversation, get the last couple of books. And again, we're doing a Q&A. So if you have any questions for Mariano, throw it up in the chat, and he will answer it. All right. So stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Are you a comic creator? Are you a publisher? Do you make a comic book product? Do you own a retail store? Do you do something I haven't thought of? Who are you and what do you do? Let us know by advertising on the experience and invite our viewers to patronize your product. Message the EXP on social media or email us _EXP@yahoo.com for more details. Hey, it's producer Kyle. If you like going places where the action never stops like Las Vegas, the Caribbean, and Atlantic City, then you're probably not who I want to talk to. But if you want to surround yourself with amazing comic books and comic book content made by a devoted group of smart and funny industry insiders, the Experience Members Club was made for you. You can join the experience by becoming a supporting member of our YouTube channel. You get access to exclusive content that no one else gets, like members-only live streams, pre-sales, one-on-one Q&As with production staff, and other content that's exclusively for members. Plus, for a limited time, if you sign up now, you'll be entered into our giveaway of a slabbed comic book. Just call this 1-8... Wait, hold on. It's 2022. No one makes phone calls anymore. Scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or just visit the membership section of our YouTube page, and you'll be on the VIP line of the comic book buffet, baby. Look at the size of those perks. Join today, and I'll be saying, who loves you, baby? Me. The answer is me.
Hi, I'm Seda Wolf. I'm the creator of Soulstream, and you're watching The Experience.
I'm super excited.
All right, we're back. And all right, Mariana, can you just hold that up to the camera? Try to center it this time, please.
Thank you. I think I got this.
All right, so
Nice.
if you just joined the show, you didn't see the evolution of this during the show. So
Can we rewind?
Sure. Where's the VHS remote? So I was watching it, and that's why I kind of asked the question, because Mariana was using the colors from an image, and the Lex Luthor armor was green, but Mariano had started with yellow.
And then the next time we looked, it was green.
It became green. So so it's just little subtleties like that. And what he was, let's throw that Spider Woman up again, Jay, if you got a second. And he explained something to me that I did not know. He said that which was it the ankle and leg touching the brick?
He didn't like the thigh and ankle.
The left. Sorry, Joe, if you're watching. It's just the only correction I did to your artwork. So the left calf and ankle looked a little too thick for me, too blocky. So because we've got solid black on the bricks, it was an easy fix to create a block.
Creators all screaming, editors are the devil.
Joe, I'll tell you, I saw it before Mariano colored it in. Leg looked fine to me. I'm just saying, whatever.
Well, then you put that in your own comic book company. Oh, wait, you don't have one, but he does.
I'm just saying. I thought it looked great to me, but who am I? All right, so we got a couple more books to show. All right, so John has personally requested the Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, #9, FOC incentive 1-to-10 ratio, Fiery Red by Joseph Michael Linsner.
Steven D'Souza's just done a great job on this book. I almost feel like we talk about a lot of Dynamite books, even on social media. I'm talking about Dynamite all the time in groups or whatever. I almost feel like I don't talk enough about how good a job that he's done. I mean, let's be honest. On the surface, Sheena seems pretty one-dimensional, right? Sheena of the Jungle. She's in like a leopard skin bikini and a knife.
Suggested retail of $40. We have it tonight for $19.99. Continue.
No. I was just going to say, it takes a lot to sort of add extra dimensions to this character. And I think of the most recent runs of this, Steven D'Souza has done an amazing job. I'll be curious to see kind of where this ends up.
Hey, Lars, man, Rex likes thick thighs. Hey. Better than liking them collars.
Oh my God! Not the collars.
We're talking about chicken right now, right? Fried chicken.
I'm not sure. I'm lost now too. I should start drinking on the name.
I just want to know: has anybody updated us on this asteroid egg? Like, has anybody noticed any like tendrils coming out or
Triple
anything?
B, I think, was watching. Triple B,
We
what's
never
up,
heard
man?
from him again. He's just gone now, so I'm going to assume that
Maybe they came
it's
down
not
for him
going well.
first.
Yeah, like
Hey,
a War
we
of the
did
World
this show during
situation
a
happening.
tornado warning. We can do it during an alien
That's
invasion.
right. It'll take them some time to get down here anyway.
It gives me great sales for the outer spacemen if outer spacemen are actually here.
Heck yeah.
Too funny.
Upside to everything.
All right, so let's see. All right, we're going to get to the final book of the night. It is Silver Surfer, number 58. All right, this one I also kind of think when we looked at it,
Ron Lim?
had a 7, probably a 7, I would say.
And we have and the Defenders. I've got that one.
And we have one available for $20 as well. All right.
Ron is great. We love Ron.
The show contract. Everyone cheered.
Candor has landed. That
Candor
was
has
great.
landed.
You know,
John Spillis, we're all going to die down here.
Do you know who I was talking to this weekend? Was Ron Mars, who I believe wrote this.
Well, that's a name drop right there. 16. We're at 16.
But I was saying because him and Ron Mars and Ron Lim just came back to do Silver Surfer
that's a double.
Rebirth, right?
That's double, dude.
Well,
That's
no,
two.
I didn't meet Ron Lim, but he was talking about how like when I was asking him about that, and he's like he loved it because this run is so classic for people, especially my age. Like those of us that were reading comics in the 90s, all of us dabbed into this Silver Surfer run, and it was a good extended run. And this is one of the Infinity Gauntlet crossovers, right? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, really solid stuff. And it makes me feel so nostalgic, even just seeing the 50th anniversary of Captain America, who's now like 80. That's crazy.
All right. So, and Weird was late because his liver just can't take it anymore. Lars Man says, I'm still working from home with access to my bar. Make Robbie stop. Triple B has a report. The signal blacked out on impact. They are saying it was a success.
Okay, sure.
So we're not really sure.
James O'Barr was awesome, Spilio.
Did you drop that name already, Robbie?
But we said that me talking about my experience at the con didn't necessarily.
I know. Did I count that one though?
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Oh my! All right, 17. We're at 17 people.
Man, hey, can I show you something real quick?
Sure.
I also met Dennis Cowan, and I got this a remark done on my question omnibus. I just wanted to show that how cool that is.
That is so
wow,
cool.
that's great.
That is so
Nice.
cool.
He
That
was
is
such
also
a cool
number
dude.
14. 14 name drops tonight, people.
So there you go. I mean, he was super cool. So
That is cool.
yeah,
So you had a good time. The drive was what? You said about 3 hours, right?
it's like three and a half hours. About 3.5 hours. Yeah,
That's not too bad. That's
it's
within
an easy
striking
drive. It's nothing. You know, I'm there with chilling with my friends and talking about comics, talking about music, talking about life, talking about movies, just like what
were
we
you gonna
do.
say?
No, I was just going to say, if you saw the pictures, it was clearly like a road trip. So even if, it's like a longer drive, you're hanging out with your friends or whatever, it doesn't.
I'm not a social media maven like you are. Okay.
I'm not a social media maven. I just happen to follow the people who are nice enough to
I
come
don't
on our
even have
show.
Instagram.
What?
I don't have Instagram.
You don't even read Dynamite Comics.
Dude, I go home.
Dude,
I
don't
make
dox them
myself-
like that.
I
what are you
eat
doing?
Something. I try to catch up
Them
to our drinking
fighting
games. I try to catch up on our drinking games.
Our new
Okay.
segment is going to be, I'm going to hold up a virgin cover and you're going to have to tell me who the character is.
And if I get it wrong, everybody's got a drink. So it's going to be even worse than the name dropping.
If he gets it right, take two.
So I want to know what everybody's opinion of Andor is. I haven't been able to make it through more than episode 1.
I haven't watched it.
I'm happy with it.
I enjoyed the first episode. I just haven't had time to really push beyond that. And it looks like Mariano is almost done. So we'll have him hold that up to the camera.
I think it's just a little kind of a segment of, I'll tell you, it's a segment of the Star Wars universe you don't see a lot of. And I would like a show like that for Star Trek. I would like one of the shows to not be like at the point of the spear, bright and shiny. Like I'd like to see some part of the Federation that is not, at the crux of like a major storyline. I just like to see, and you see very
Star Trek 5, Nimbus 3.
So, and weird. So it's weird saying the EXP is going to have an AA session at this rate. Actually, more than likely, the lawyers will require that I read a disclaimer at the beginning of the show at the rate we're going, right? So Lyle says he was late because he was getting U-Touch from my antique car. That's very cool.
Nice.
Rings of Power. I tried to watch the first 3. I've fallen behind. I don't know. And I haven't even returned back to House of the Dragon either.
This is my journey with Rings of Power. So I watched the first 2 episodes and I didn't really like them, but I watched the 3rd one and I was kind of into it. And then I was watching the 4th one and I kept going, who's this person? What does this have to do with this? And I was confused and I didn't even finish the episode. But House of the Dragon, I'm like right on top of. I watched last night's episode and after 5 episodes, they changed 2 of the leads because they're younger actresses, right? And so they got
they're getting
people
older,
that,
right?
So but they're only like 10 years older. But anyway, you've gotten so used to these 2 amazing performances from these actors, and then all of a sudden there's some new people, and it's just like when I don't know, like in a soap opera when they're like today. Yeah, it was off-putting, but it's still a really well done show. I'm really digging it.
I think the problem with Rings of Power is that you've got way too big a universe, right? Whereas with House of the Dragon, you have a more limited universe based on Games of Thrones.
Well, we've talked about this before. This is high fantasy and a lower level of fantasy. The lower level of fantasy at House of the Dragon, we're getting really good stories, right? Rings of Power, it's just too much, and they don't have the rights to Silmarillion, so they have to make certain tweaks. Right. And I know they added Simon Tolkien as one of the associate producers or something, but that's almost done more to placate people. And you know what I mean? I really don't think that Simon Tolkien is barging onto the set and saying, that's not what my grandfather wrote. Right. I really just don't think that's the case. And I think part of the reason Simon is there is because Christopher Tolkien is just, you know what I mean? Very Alan Moore.
Rings of Power. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say Rings of Power does look pretty, though. Like, it is one of those shows where you can see, like, they keep touting it's the most expensive show ever. Not that it's the most cleverly written show ever, but notice that. But they're touting how it's super expensive to create, and you can at least see that. Like, the show looks amazing. I'm just finding myself kind of dulled out by the story. There's so many different characters, and I don't know. It's like they're trying to do like a PG-13 version of Game of Thrones with the Tolkien-esque nature of it. And they got the rights to only 2 or 3 of the appendices or something like that. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
John Spillios.
No, I'm sorry.
John has a question. John Spillios, are you talking about the Lex Luthor or the Outer Spaceman? Just let me know which book you're talking about, or both, whichever. I'm sure Mariana would be happy to do that.
What am I doing? What's happening?
John is never going to sell the book, so he wants his signed book personalized. But I'm just trying to clarify.
Mariana, right? Yeah, of course.
Okay, Lex Luthor, got it.
No worries.
Yeah, you got it, John.
So yeah, Lex is finished. As finished as we're going to get. Lex.
Or you could sell it to another John.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not you.
Voila. You'll just hound Mariana to draw one for yourself. And weird, we only had one best offer. It is Battlefield's Dear Billy #2, signed by Garth Ennis in silver. Suggested retail of $69.99. It is a best offer book, and where Rubenstein is currently in the lead at $11.
I think to a certain extent, we're talking about Rings of Power. I think to a certain extent, they knew they were gonna hit up into this, right? Because right up until nearly he passed away in 2020, Christopher Tolkien wanted no part whatsoever of the Silmarillion being done by Amazon. I guess because he wasn't happy with what New Line did with Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And the guy was just disconnected from the process. Plus, the last couple of years of his life, I mean, Amazon had been working on this for years, different incarnations of it. He passed away during the pandemic. He was fairly old. They had to make do with what they could get. They had very limited access to what's generally considered the Silmarillion, but they only had limited access.
Right.
Plus, you have all the other considerations. This stuff was written literally a century ago, right? Some of it was written a century ago. It was a very, very different world then. So they have to take what they can get, massage it into an acceptable form for a modern audience.
You guys are talking about comics for once, and I'm probably interrupting. Are you guys talking about comics or something else?
No, are those from my box? Thank you so
No,
much.
basically because we
No.
spent so little time talking about comics, each person who ordered tonight will get one limited edition Dynamite book. It'll be random.
Ooh.
Nice.
So each person will get
Nice.
a limited edition. All because these guys can't talk and sell comics.
What? Isn't everything
I was
sold?
talking comics.
You're trying to forgive your
Except-
brother for stealing Deadpool.
Except when I was begging for a pizza. But other than that, I was talking comics.
Comics, pizza.
They go together.
No, they don't.
Well, you know what? If I get a run,
Listen, look, if you were doing Mary Jane and you needed a little bit of extra red for her hair, that would be one thing, you know? If you were drawing Spider-Man and you ran out of red ink, then yes, pizza would be fine.
I see where you're going here. The red sauce on the pizza, but you're only making it worse because there's no pizza.
Listen, that was potentially the intent. Comic, what's a comic?
you know what? I've been thinking about maybe getting like a Rhino pizza oven and actually just.
Something important came up. Preston wants a Rex cap.
Oh, go ahead. No.
All right.
These
so-
are the books you guys
And
didn't
not the
buy,
one on
but
his head.
should have.
He wants a Rex cap, just not the one on his head.
Oh, do you
All
have
right.
merch?
All right, so here we go. All right, so we did New Avengers number 40, signed by artist Jim Chung, and we have one available for $49.99. Yeah, Stevie B. All right, and then we had.
You know what? Let's do it for $41 since that's the year Cap first came out, and he was one of the best Avengers leaders.
All right, so that is now $41 for the New Avengers number 40, signed by artist Jim Chung, and we have one available at that price. Then we did Shadowland number 2 variant, signed by Billy Tan, number 4 of 5. And we have one available for $29.99.
Yeah, that I can't do anything on.
No, I
That's
was
the
gonna
rare incentive. Somebody's getting a free book with that.
And then we had Battlefield's Dear Billy number 2, signed by Garth Ennis Silver. It's just retail $69.99, and it is the best offer book, and where Rubenstein is currently in the lead at 11.
And like Robbie said before, this is the best. If you're looking for like a real combat book, this is pretty much the top of that food chain.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So then we had Uncanny Inhumans number 0, signed by Charles Soule. And we have one available for $29.99. It is number 6 of 100. Then we did Guardians 3000 number 1, signed in silver by Alex Ross. Number 16 of 25 signed, and we have one available for $199.99.
The psychokinetic burst of Vance Astro.
And then we had Silver Surfer number 58. And I would say it is conservatively a 7 or 7.5 presumed grade. And we have one available for $20.
And it's all the Defenders.
And then we had Uncanny X-Men number 236. Also approximately the same presumed grade, around a 7. And we have one available for $20.
Is this Mark Silvestri?
Yeah.
Then we have, this is the last
told you,
CCA
though.
that is left. Captain America number 695, blank variant, signed by Joe Del Beato and Mariano Nicieza, with Spider-Woman cover sketch. It's just a retail of $149.99. We have the one available for $75. All right, Preston, you're claiming the Surfer. Gotcha.
Good pickup.
Very
Yeah.
good.
All right, and then let's see. Then we had Panther number 5, incentive black and white cover, 1:15 ratio by Jorge Fornes. And we have one available for $16.99.
Make it an even 15 for 1 in 15.
All right, so then that is now $15.
We were talking about how Dynamite always has a lot of variant covers, right? I can't remember a cover that
Yes, John, you can have her for 150. Got to
All
give
right,
it to you.
So
Nice.
John, you got it, buddy.
books
150.
that were this. I mean, look at this and look at this. This is the same book.
Yeah.
This is super wild art, like variation,
Yeah.
right? I think that's great.
All right, then we did Sheena, Queen of the Jungle number 9, FOC incentive 1:10 ratio, fiery red by Joseph Michael Linsner. It's just a retail of $40, and we have one available for $19.99.
Could you imagine if Freud looked at this cover, what he would think?
All right, and then we had
And saw his mother.
Oh my god!
And then we had the Outer Spaceman #1 signed by Mariano Nicieza. It's just retail $25, and we have a show special of $20, but $15 if you've purchased any other item on the show.
Oh, very kind of you, Mariana.
And we have quantities of that for whoever wants to pick that up.
How many of the commission cover art did we sell?
3 out of the 4.
Okay. So what we're also going to do is kick Mariano, since people were generous and bought that. Anybody who bought the Outer Spaceman and bought something else, we'll give Mariano the extra $5 for those. This way he's coming away with $20 on each one. So if you bought something from us and you picked up the Outer Spaceman, we're going to give Mariano that $5 out of the sale.
Wow.
Thank you,
right.
Mr. Barucci.
There
you
you
can't
go.
go wrong.
And he's like, take it and buy a pizza with it.
Exactly.
All right.
Go get yourself a slice of pizza, kid.
And we've got about 2 minutes in the best offer items. Is that right, Jay?
We love you too, John. You're the best. Thank you. You guys are all the best. You make the community
All right.
grow.
I stand corrected. 1 minute, 20 seconds, rather.
Yeah, but by the time they hear it, it'll be 1 minute because of the delay.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Hey, everybody, don't forget, though, seriously, we love the comic industry. Make sure you frequent your local comic store on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Tomorrow's DC, Wednesday's everybody else.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, definitely support your local LCSs so that we can still have them around. They need our support. Mariano, you want to hold those 2 CCAs up again?
Well, I've got them perfectly aligned.
Yeah, no, we don't want to touch them
We're
now.
not touching
All right.
them now.
So the Outer Spaceman. What issue is the Outer
It's number 1.
Spaceman?
It's issue number 1.
It's issue number
It's a
1
premier issue.
with a special foil cover. And if you, let's see, it's Ed Weird. It's $20 special show price. Regular retail is $25. $15 if you purchased another item on the show.
Sheldon is claiming the new Avengers.
All right.
Outer Spaceman.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Okay. All right. All right. Hold
Shannon
on, Sheldon.
Our covers.
Sheldon, and you want Shannon Mayer covers. Gotcha. All right.
And yes,
So
Frazetta is amazing.
Yes.
All right. Good job. New Avengers. Let's see.
Speaking of Frazetta,
Okay.
we're doing Fire and Ice.
Sheldon, claim
Yeah.
that. Gotcha, Sheldon. All right. Let's see. Okay, and the Outer Spaceman for you as well. Gotcha, Sheldon.
So Ed Weird has a question.
Yeah, the 10-pack counts as a purchase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it absolutely counts as a purchase.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes,
buddy.
last week's book is available.
All right, so Ed Weird, I'm going to put you down
Yeah,
for a
see,
10-pack
that's
as
what
well.
Phaser
I want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
You're not missing anything. You're covered.
All right, so gotcha, Ed Weird. Got you down. So your price will also be, let me see.
I gotta find my copy of that book.
All right, so
Thank you, Ed Weird.
Ed Weird, you got it, buddy. I got you down. So you're at 15 as well. Fantastic. All right, cool. Very, very cool. And did I get the new Avengers? I did. All right, so let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, this foil process is very cool. It's
All right, cool. I
like
didn't
I'm
miss
able
Thank
to
you,
move my
Will
head.
Rubenstein.
All right. All right. Where Rubenstein, you got it, buddy.
Everybody's keeping you busy at the end here, Rex.
I know, right? A lot of writing. All
Well, people like to
right,
listen
so
to our
John, you're
nonsense and then
taking-
buy their books. On
right, hold on. So John, you are taking the
Yeah, that's the Alex Ross one, right? This one.
yes, I have you down, John, for
Yeah.
that as well. All right. So you're good to go on that for 150.
Mhm.
All right. So you settle
That's a
there.
great cover, man.
It
That
is a
helped.
very cool cover. Definitely.
I like the art choices Ross does, like some of the classic costumes. Like people don't realize how some of those costumes looked when Guardians of the Galaxy
All right.
first
So
launched.
all right. So Mariano, John also
That's
wants
Charlie X's
two
helmet.
John
Like he was a square with a
and
square
two
helmet.
John. Okay, gotcha, buddy. I got you down for both. So both the Lex Luthor and the Outer Spaceman will be personalized.
Will do, John.
What's the M stand for on your cap?
Do you really want to know? All right. So, so as those regular viewers know, my daughter has played softball throughout her life. She was recruited to play in college. She went back to coaching for the team that got her recruited in college, and I'm helping her for free. And that's the logo of the organization, the South Jersey Mystics. And that's what we do. it's a little different now for me. For many years, my daughter started playing when she was 6. Started playing travel softball when she was 10. A lot of money, a lot of travel involved. If you're there, there are no full rides for softball. Unfortunately, they're very limited money, so very few players actually get a full ride. It's just part of the process. I got to spend a lot of time with my daughter through the years, and even now, she's 22 and obviously doesn't want to spend a whole lot of time with her old man, except when we get to softball tournaments with her team. So no, Preston, it does not stand for Mario. Thank you for asking. Oh yeah, Sheldon.
Oh, if he does, I'd go with a W for Wario.
Sheldon. Yes. Okay, so you want yours to Sheldon. Gotcha. All right, gotcha, my friend. We'll make sure we get that personalized for you as well.
Thank you, Sheldon.
So, I gotta say again, thank you to all the viewers. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you guys make this show.
Yeah, thank you to Mariano for agreeing to come and sit with us clowns for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you as always to John, and of course, thank you to my buddy Rockin Robbie from PCP. And if you haven't yet, tune in at noontime Eastern on Fridays. I am on PCP with Robbie, and it is whatever topic.
Oh, yeah, everything Robbie does, you should check it out.
It just it's whatever topic pops into Robbie's head that day. Last Friday we did the 5 best remake movies, which then kind of went into the 5 worst remake movies. And then we just went off on a tangent.
I messaged Robbie a movie that I couldn't remember the name of it. It's like the birth of Irish horror, this weird subgenre. It's just really cool. We were talking about Shudder and the different things. This thing popped up on my you should see this list. And I'm like, wow, this is very cool. And it goes to prove you don't need $1 zillion to make a good movie.
There you go. So also keep in mind, tune into PCP at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight for Robbie's movie review show. It is what was the movie again?
Get Out.
Get Out.
That's right.
Get Out. You want to hear something? You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
First of all, thanks everybody who supported Mariana tonight with the Outer Spaceman. That was really nice of you. So thank you all. Second, Manny was going to the movies on a Friday, and I said, "Oh, what are you gonna? Can I ask what you're gonna see?" He goes, "Nope."
Nope.
I was
nice.
like,
nope.
Oh wow,
That's
you
rude,
really don't
right?
want to tell me that bad?
Nope.
He's like, "No, I'm going to go see the movie Nope." I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's wild. Nope is pretty wild. What do we have? We have somebody coming up at 8:00 right now.
Desperado. Good call, John.
8:00, Jen King.
That did not come up.
Is Miss Jen at 8:00?
Yeah, Miss Jen's at 8.
And then go check out Robbie at 9.
Yeah,
We're out of here,
definitely check
guys.
out
We're out
Robbie
of
at
time.
9.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Jay, for pushing the buttons, making everything go.
Yep. Thank you, Jay, our producer. And
thanks, Amy, for running in the iPad situation.
Yeah. And we will be back on Wednesday.
Thanks,
And
everybody.
we'll do a free giveaway. So tune in Wednesday for a free giveaway.
All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you in a couple days.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.